Right, welcome everybody to the Menopause Café for May. We're going to talk about exercise in the menopause. So very welcome. Really looking forward to sharing some ideas and some research in relation to exercise and how hopefully it will benefit everybody in regards to the menopause, and some facts and figures regarding that. So just before I go into the presentation in full, I just want to introduce myself. So my name is Alex Reid. I'm a strength and conditioning specialist, and I run my own business called Perform Fitness, which is this logo here. I've worked in high performance sport and more recently in the corporate world for almost 25 years, or in fact over 25 years. And I've had a really great experience working with high performance sport for Fulham Football Club, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, where I was the head strength and conditioning coach, which was quite an amazing experience. So I had 10 years in professional football. And then I left football and had a family myself. So I've got a 12-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son who keep me busy. And since then, I've kind of consulted for a number of different high performance environments. So the Football Association, I currently work for the RFU, for the rugby, as well as England Athletics. I've consulted for a member of the royal family, which was quite interesting, and got to travel to the Caribbean, which was quite a nice perk, as well as more recently corporate events. So I've worked for Balfour Beatty for almost over a year now, Glees, which is a law firm, a number of corporate clients. So I bring a lot of experience, and I'm hoping that I can relay that through to you guys in relation to the menopause and how exercise can be a really positive addition to and complement what you might do to help you through the menopause. So that's my story. The outcome goals for today are to help everybody understand the benefits of exercise for general health and well-being, and in addition to how exercise can positively impact your quality of life throughout the menopause and beyond. So it's really important to hopefully buy into the facts and figures that I'm going to present and how they can help you. So the importance of exercise, I'm sure that you're all very much aware, and it's kind of in the media quite a lot, and how important it is to be physically active. And I think the last 18 months that we've had with COVID, I think there's two streams. One stream of people have got really active and really fit and started to do a lot more activity, and the other stream have actually become more sedentary and probably not done as much exercise as they might have done when they had a commute, for example, and were a bit more active with their day-to-day manoeuvring to get to work, picking up kids when the kids weren't off at school. Obviously, we didn't have those activities to do. So I think there's two streams, but the key thing really that I'd like to relay today is that we should be physically active every day for good physical health and for good mental well-being and health as well. We should aim to be active every day, and it's really important to not burden and pressure yourself to think, I haven't got time to exercise, I've got to do it for an hour. Actually, research indicates that small 10-minute blocks of exercise can all be really good, healthy chunks of activity that will help us achieve our weekly target. And really the bottom line with exercise is to minimize the amount of time that we spend sitting, being sedentary, and not being as active as we possibly could be. So being aware of those benefits and recognizing that actually small bouts are really important and can add up to our daily target and weekly target. So as far as weekly targets, there's some exercise guidelines that the World Health Organization and also our government, the UK government, also reinforce and suggest for everybody. So this is for adults. They suggest that we should do at least 150 minutes of aerobic-based exercise or 75 minutes of higher intensity exercise per week. So if we break that down for the 150 of aerobic-based, that could be things like walking the dog, walking the children to school and back, going dancing, very low level, walking around the shops, all that kind of stuff. We're on our feet, we're moving. They're really important kind of numbers that we should try and achieve. So 30 minutes 5 times a week would kind of tick that box, which is really important. If you're a member of a team and you play team sport and now things are moving in the right direction with that as well, then higher intensity tennis, basketball, football, all those kind of things are really important for the higher intensity work. The other thing to note, which is again very relevant with my talk and with the menopause, is that again the World Health Organization and the government suggest that we should do 2 strength based exercises each week at least. So again, we're going to talk about osteoporosis and bone health, and that's going to be reinforced with the guidelines here that are for our health related fitness. And the key message really is that we want to limit the amount of time that we're sedentary, and we want to replace all of the sedentary time with more movement. So taking the stairs instead of taking the lift, walking up an escalator. Now we're all allowed to go out and about a bit more. We can increase our activity levels a little bit more easier than perhaps during lockdown. So it's a really important thing to think about, and it's a really easy intervention that we can all create in our lives is the fact that exercise reduces health risks. And this is a research-based fact. It will reduce our risk of major illnesses, such as heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and cancer by up to 50%. These are big numbers. It's not just 5 to 10% difference maybe. These are really important numbers that are important for us to maybe choose to be more active, and also lower our risk of early death by up to 30%. So it's about quality of life and about being fit and healthy as we age. And I'm going to talk about that as well through the presentation. Not only physically do we get the benefits from being active, but also things like increased mood, reduction in stress, boosting self-esteem, boosting confidence, self-respect, feeling proud of the fact that we've been a bit more active and we're starting to feel the benefits physically, mentally, and also maybe visually, we're going to feel a bit better as well. And these are all really important components of why we want to choose to be more active in our lives. So very nice to know that it's worth the effort to be active. So really, here we go, the big question, exercise and the menopause. How does it affect the menopause? So it's very clear that exercise benefits general health and well-being. It's very, very well documented. There is lots of research on this, which is fantastic, but perhaps not so much research as far as the menopause, but there are some papers out there which will reinforce the evidence base for why we might choose to be active. So we're going to talk about 3 main areas today. We're going to talk about hot flushes, osteoporosis, and weight gain. So hopefully you're going to get some good information from this and take it away, and it's going to inspire you to become maybe a little bit more active. So before we go into the main part of the discussion and the research-based, evidence-based facts, I'd like to get you all moving. So I'm going to run through 4 different exercises, and I'd love you all to join in, please. And again, feel free to have your cameras on or cameras off, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'd like to demonstrate these 4 exercises and just show you how easy it is at your desks if you're sitting at work or sitting in the office, or just want to take 5 minutes to be a bit more active, how you can do these things and what a difference it makes, okay? So the first one we're going to do is what I call angels. So if you'd like to sit in your chair, please, nice and tall. And what we're going to do is face our palms outwards. I'm going to reach into the sky as tall as we can. Big deep breath in, extend our ribs, feel the air go in, and then we're going to go down again. So we can do 5 of this. So that's 1. Big reach up. This is number 2. And again, number 3. And number 4. Well done. 1 more to go. Big reach up, and 5. Good. And relax there. So these exercises are going to help with circulation, going to help with posture, going to help with mobility of our thoracic spine at the top of our back, as well as our lumbar spine at the lower back. We're going to do the angels again, please. So big reach up, same thing, palms facing outwards. So that's 1. And again, 2, nice big reach. And 3. And 4, well done. 1 more big one. And 5. Lovely, and relax there. Right, I'm going to get you out of your chairs, please. So if you can stand behind your chair for me, please. We're going to stand with feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to just show you my feet. So feet shoulder width apart, gently leaning on the back of the chair. I'm going to go up and down for 12 repetitions of calf raises. Okay, so here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. Have a little shake out. You should be feeling those calf muscles working now. We're going to do another set of 12, please. So up and down again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We should feel a nice little burn in those calves. Shake it out. And then we do a nice gentle calf stretch, please. So both feet facing forward. Gently lean forward into the chair. Keep the back heel on the floor. And you should feel a lovely stretch through the calf. And then switch sides. So again, leaning forward, please. Gentle stretch of that calf muscle. Hold that for about 5 seconds. And again, let's go. Switch again, please. One more set on each side. So 5-second hold. That's great. And one more to go. 5-second hold again. Good. And relax there. Great. Okie dokie. Next one, everybody. We're going to do some balance work. And balance is a very important component of fitness that often isn't trained. So I'll talk to you about that again in a moment. But if we can please grab a pen, if you've got a pen on your desk, or a ball, if you happen to have a ball, or something that you can play catch with. We're going to stand on one leg. So brace through the core if you can. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Stabilize. And if you can, play catch with your pen. Try and balance. Lovely. And then switch sides of the leg. So again, stabilize, pull the belly button in and play catch. Feel the balance work through the leg, through the ankle, through the knee. And again, please, one more on each leg. Here we go. Good balance. Great stuff. And then last one, same again. Keep that nice strong legs. Perfect. And relax there. Good. Well done. Right. Looking good. We've got one to go. Okay, we're going to do some chair squats. So this is going to be great at raising our heart rate a little bit, strengthening our lower legs. And of course, this is a weight-bearing exercise, which we're going to talk about in a moment. So feet shoulder width apart, please, on our chairs. Okay, hands on our hips. And make sure your chair's safe. If you've got wheels on it, make sure they're locked. So we're going to go up and down for 12 repetitions. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. Nice and quick. And 10, 11, and 12. Perfect. And relax there. Good. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll talk about that maybe at the end when we have a bit of a Q&A and have a discussion. But well done. If you enjoyed that and got out of your seat, I hope that you're feeling fresh and revitalized. Great. Thank you. Right. So here we go. Let's talk about hot flushes. So I wanted to talk to you about a presentation, a research paper from 2019, so relatively recently, which demonstrated that hot flushes decreased significantly after 3 weeks of resistance training in an intervention group, and the control group did not have any changes. So if we look at this graph here on the right-hand side of my screen, you can see on average at the baseline there were between 7 and 8 hot flushes in 24 hours. The control group are the blue line, and they just basically carried on with 6 to 7 every day within 24 hours. Whereas the intervention group, within 3 weeks, started to see improvements of the hot flushes, and by 15 weeks were reduced to around 4 to 5 hot flushes in a day. So think about that as about a 50% drop in the benefit of just doing some strength exercises. So the prescription, which is really important to know, obviously to action and apply into your own kind of lifestyle, is very simple. It was 8 exercises from the research paper. They only did 2 sets, so it wasn't loads of sets, and they did it 3 times a week. So it's a really achievable prescription. It's not anything crazy. It's not rocket science, really. It's something that's very simple to do and wouldn't take too long in everyone's lives. The sample was 58 people, and the average age for the paper was around 55-year-old women. So it's really quite a positive, significant kind of push to reinforce not only what the government is saying about twice a week for loading. This is actually 3 times a week, but actually that would probably take you 20, 30, maybe 30 minutes to do that session 3 times a week with the specific exercises. So really interesting paper. If anyone's interested in that, obviously the reference is there underneath. So very positive for that. Regarding osteoporosis, we know that with the estrogen deficiency, that the normal bone turnover and regeneration of bone in the shafts of the bone is reduced, and this can be reduced as much as 10%, even more so for some women as well. So there's a kind of gradual lacking of bone mineral density through the menopause that affects bones and affect the women who are going through the menopause. So obviously the threat for this is osteoporotic fractures. You know, you hear about people that fall, crack their wrists, their hips. You know, this is quite a real problem for the menopause. So again, we need to recognise what we can do to help with that bone density and how we can manage that and reduce that risk for our age group and people going through the menopause. So one of the facts here is that we know that bone requires continuous remodelling, which is pivotal for density. So again, thinking about loading, regular loading, weight-bearing exercise, walking, squatting, running. I'll give you some examples in a moment in the presentation. Knowing that this happens through the body, it doesn't just, we don't just grow, have a bone and that's it. It's always developing, always moving, which is really important to know. And 10% of bone is updated by this regeneration process every year. So if we're losing it and we're gaining it, we're going to start to become a little bit less dense in our bone mineral density, which is going to put us at a higher risk of fracture. So how are we going to prevent this and mitigate this as much as we can? So there's two types of exercises that are important to help with bone density. So weight-bearing exercise and muscle strengthening. We've already spoken about strengthening and how it helps with hot flushes, and so it'd be amazing if it helps with bone density as well. So let's see, weight-bearing exercises. So what does it include? So for example, if you're a joint compromised person who may have a history of knee problems or a history of hip problems, for example, and you're thinking, how am I going to do this? I've got a sore knee, a sore back, a sore hip. Well, actually, there's a lot of low impact weight-bearing exercises that you can do. Things like elliptical training machines that you might see at the gym that are kind of like a big cycle thing that you can do. And because you're standing and you're bearing weight, you've got your own body weight going through your body, that would count as weight-bearing exercise, but it's low impact, you're not pounding on the joints. Low impact aerobics. So again, if you can control the intensity of an aerobic session, for example, and not go quite as high intensity, not jumping off boxes or bounding, hopping, things like that, you can control the impact, then that would be a really great way to, again, get some weight-bearing exercise through the body. Step machines, machines again in the gym, but also fast walking outside, ideally, so you get some fresh air, a sense of well-being. But again, on a treadmill, now the gyms are open, is also a great option for low impact weight-bearing exercise. And then we've got high impact. So this is a bit more demanding, a little bit more load through the body. And dancing, high impact aerobics, hiking, jogging, running, jumping rope, stair climbing, tennis, sports, you know, all of these kind of behaviors would be classed as high impact weight-bearing exercise. And again, you know, very easy to complete those activities. And again, as a joint compromised person, don't think you can't do it. There is always a way that we think we can help you and achieve exercise. Then we've got our muscle strengthening exercises. So these would include activities where you move your body with a weight or with some other resistance against gravity. So things like resistance bands would be a really good thing to use. Lifting weights, so the barbell there that lady's got there, dumbbells, kettlebells, any kind of loading there. Using weight machines. So if, again, you don't feel confident with big barbells and dumbbells, you can also use the seated weight machines in the gym. So again, you're moving your legs or pressing your arms against load, but probably in a more secure situation if you're sitting down, if you're not familiar with heavy loading. But certainly the weight bearing and the muscular would be hit really nicely with what she's doing there with the squat. So it's a kind of double whammy of load, which is great. Lifting your own body weight would count. And then again, the calf raises that we just did and the squats that we just did in our little exercise session there, they would be classed as muscle strengthening exercises. They would count towards your protection of osteoporosis. So very simple to do, but also it's going to help with your quality of life through the menopause. We spoke about it again in our exercise program, preventing injury, moving safely in the balance component. So again, if we're not very good at balancing, if our balance is poor, then we're at increased risk of falling, and therefore, because of our osteoporosis, we're at an increased risk of fracture. So it kind of all leads onto each other. So if we can improve our balance and recognise the value in improving our balance, then it's going to be really a big positive addition to our conditioning and to our body protection and to our quality of life. Things, she's standing on a nice BOSU, which of course in the gym you might have access to one of those, but you don't have to have anything fancy. You can literally stand and clean your teeth on one leg. You can do your hair while you're standing on one leg. You can, wait for the kettle to boil. Whenever you're on your phone, stand on one leg, mix it up. Or if you've got your kids, throw a ball at them, stand on one leg whilst you're catching a ball or kicking a ball. Anything like that can make it fun. It doesn't have to be I have to do my balance. Build it into your daily lifestyle. And it really can be improved, can be trained, and is a very important component of fitness as we age. So very important to think about that as we age and as we get older. Here we go, weight gain, big questions towards weight gain. Obviously it's associated with the menopause quite a lot, so very important to think about this. First one here in this information box, research suggests that hormonal changes from the menopause may make you more likely to gain weight around your abdomen. And I'm sure Layla can touch on that in the Q&A to some extent as well. But it's important to recognise that it's perhaps not just hormonal changes that cause the menopause weight gain. Things, for example, age-related weight gain. We know that your lean muscle mass will be reduced as we age. So again, it really reinforces the rationale to lift weights and create more lean mass. Our metabolism is increased if we've got more lean mass, and if we've got more fat mass, then obviously it's going to affect our weight gain. Although muscle weighs more than fat, if you're lean, the BMI, body mass index, can be a little bit screwed if you're strong and if you've got high lean muscle mass. A lot of my footballers who were lean and ripped and six packs actually had a high BMI. So I had to do their skin folds with some calipers to get a real accurate result. But actually it's how you feel as well. It's how you feel about your body. And certainly if you're lifting weights and doing some weight bearing exercise or strengthening exercises, then certainly you feel a bit better. We spoke about self-esteem at the beginning of how exercise can give you that sense of well-being and make you feel great about yourself. So it's not just what it says on the scales, it's also how you feel. So aging can affect the weight gain, but also lifestyle and genetic factors. So, things like alcohol, things like portions of food, the right choices with food, snacking. We're all working from home, a lot of us, through the last 18 months. It's a lot easier to go to the cupboard and grab something than it probably would be if you're in the office at work. So making the right choices is really important. But also lack of exercise and healthy eating and not enough sleep can also contribute to weight gain through the menopause, but also for anybody, to be honest, as well. So although there is a hormonal link potentially, there's certainly lifestyle choices that any of us could make that would lead to us to put on weight. So these are the key areas really. Limiting alcohol. So alcohol has excess calories, empty calories as we call them. So we're going to, if we have a few drinks on the weekend or through the week, if we have a glass of wine each week, we're probably adding 150 to 200 calories for each glass that we might choose to have. There's some really good apps that you can use to see exactly what you might be having a drink of, what the calorie input might be from that, just to become a bit more aware of actually where these empty calories might come from. Of course, physical activity is going to help reduce body weight because we're going to burn more calories, and it's all calorie in and calorie out, and we're going to increase our lean mass, which again increases our metabolism. So again, you can see how it's all very much linked. As we gain muscle, we burn more calories, and certainly with things like HIIT sessions, high intensity intermittent training sessions or interval training sessions, we get what we call an afterburn. So we might work hard, the session might be at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then we finish, shower, get ready for our day. But actually our metabolism is still working based upon the session that we did at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's a really clever way to continue to burn calories as after training, after lifting, and after working out, which is great. The other thing which is really interesting, I thought, is that actually as we age and into our 50s, research indicates that we probably need about 200 fewer calories a day. than we did in our 30s and 40s. So again, if we're still eating the same plates and the same food that we have throughout our lives as we go into our 50s, then it's not surprising that we're going to put a bit of weight on. 200 extra calories each day are going to start to pile on the pounds over time. So thinking about what we're choosing to eat, making the right decisions. Again, there's some very good apps to help support those choices. It's really quite an insight. So thinking about that, we know that if you burn an extra 500 calories a day, that you're going to lose a pound of fat a week. So, again, it doesn't take much to overload the calories and start to put weight on and go the other way. So the key things really are limiting alcohol, move more, eat less if we're in our 50s, and generally reduce our calorie input and intake. And then we should start to help improve our weight gain risk. Okay. And the key thing for me, it's great that the research indicates that we can help the menopause with the hot flushes, the osteoporosis, and the weight gain, certainly through the weight-bearing exercise and the strengthening. But really, it's about quality of life for me. You've got to have, if you've got grandchildren, kids, you want to see these grow up. You want to, travel the world, play golf, play sport, whatever it is that you want to do, retire healthy. And this is quite a nice visual for me. This is from a book called Younger Next Year. And for me, my goal is I'm 48 now, so I'm kind of around here. So we know physiologically that we start to age in our mid-40s, lose our muscle mass, start to go downhill. And actually, I want to maintain my quality of life. And so I work out and I train and exercise and try and eat healthy, try not to drink too much alcohol and try and make the right choices. So I'd like to think I can have a really good quality of life, really enjoy my children and hopefully my grandchildren until the end of my lifespan, which is great. But more often than not, and this is the reality for many people, is that we hit our mid-40s, we start to get a little bit overweight, start to lose the motivation to think, well, that's just kind of how it is. And then our quality of life starts to go down. And really in our 60s, certainly 70s, our quality of life isn't great. And our longitudinal life is probably 10 years less than it probably could be by quality of life. So we can control these choices, and exercise is a great way to help us and keep us active through this journey of the menopause, but also journey through life as well. So in summary, it's great to follow the World Health Organization and government guidelines. I think they match quite nicely what we would need to do anyway to be healthy for the menopause and to make those positive kind of adaptation to the symptoms of the menopause. And of course, we get the benefit of the health-related self-esteem, reduction in illness, disease, all these really positive things, that it's free. We can go for a walk, we can go for a run ourselves outside in nature, which is a great thing to do. I'd love you to recognise how regular strength loading can reduce the hot flushes, decrease the risk of osteoporosis, and maintain a healthy weight. And hopefully I've relayed that through the presentation. And also recognise not only the physical but the mental benefits that exercise brings, sense of well-being, part of a team. Sometimes if we're walking with friends, walk and talk, I do online HIIT sessions or online desk exercise sessions, and being together as a group, talking to each other, it's a really mental health well-being as well as the physical well-being that it provides. So, and then this is just a summary actually from some research, to exercise or not to exercise during the menopause was the paper. And it basically summarised it saying that the evidence suggests that exercise is a useful intervention strategy for women during and post-menopause to alleviate the symptoms. And more importantly, exercise has numerous other benefits and is safe with no reported side effects. So it's a win-win, it's a great outcome. So this is me, I am Perform Fitness. Any further information, that if anyone's really interested in the physical side of things and how maybe I can help you, I'd be delighted to. My email address is here, and my website, which I'd love you to have a little look at, is there. So feel free to contact me and drop me an email. If you want to pop OMC in the subject line as well, so I know it's from this presentation, that'd be great. And any questions, everybody? So thank you for listening. I hope that's been a really nice insight into physical exercise for everybody.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. It was very, very useful.